Here, we'll go ahead and add a stakeholder. We'll add a company. Let's add an architect, architectural company. Let's add these same guys called visual architects. And this guy's name is Marshall. And his email is architect at HomeaZZon. And his phone number, because we'll also send him a text. We'll also send them a text. And this person is an architect. So we'll go ahead and send that invitation to that guy. All right. Cool. So we can see that invitation that we sent out to our architect, right? And we also have received that reminder, right? So here's how that invitation will look. So this is the one that we sent to that vendor. They have two things that they need to do. Effectively, this message will change, but we still give the vendor access to the mobile app. They can use it if they would like. But primarily, we're talking to different contractors who are going to work on the project during phase 2, right? These guys right here. What we do is we enable daily logging of hours and materials, right? So they log their hours every day. That bubbles up to the property developer. That's visible for the owner and all other stakeholders that are authorized to see that payments between the property developer and later the owner and during phase 3, and direct communication with the project team as well as the insurance provider for on the job incidents. And then also their access to their private label back office. So then they next want to register to the private label back office, and that will get them access to begin using the platform and adding their portfolio and then connecting with customers and then growing their customer base through the HomeaZZon ecosystem. All right, let's finish up. Here are the approvers. We can see the people that have joined the project and if they have approved phase 1. Let's look at the project communications. So here's a little bit of the project communications that may happen. Of course, this is fictional. We see a few things from here. We see the customer name. We can see the project documents. We see the percentage of overall project completion that we are. We see the expected start date, or the date that we kind of started phase 1 planning, the expected end date of the project, the total number of tradesmen. In this case, we got a loan from the bank. So, and the project budget is $550. We got $450 from the bank loan, and so far 90 has been dispersed. The project conversations that can occur, we have planning and approvals, construction, inspections and compliance, change requests, financials, and post-construction. So again, this repository lives with this property forever. Once it's built, the owner will have access to all of this information, and that's a wealth of information. So let's look at what we have here in our conversation piece. You can immediately see that we have a couple new messages since the last time I've taken a look here. I can immediately see who started the conversations. Let's look at a couple of them. We see the approval and initial design specifications that I actually started that conversation 25 days ago. 3 people thumbed up it. 5 people responded. 25 people viewed it. And here I'm saying we received the green light from the city council. So let's talk about the city council. So although we don't have a stakeholder for city council, we do have a guest special role. So we have our 12 pillars, and then we have a special role, right? And that special role is for guests who aren't defined here. They're like that sixth man in the basketball or the 12th man in football, right? That's that extra player who can come on for the purpose of just document collaboration. So in this case, we will allow the city council to, if they needed to give a quick approval or look at a document or send a quick document, that would be really nice to be able to send an email link to the city council person and say, hey, that document, instead of emailing me, hey, just click that link and just upload it right there, right? We get the full timestamp of that. That's logged chronologically for the lifetime of the project. So we just want to go ahead and highlight that feature. So again, I'm saying, hey, attach all the approved blueprints. And here I'm asking, hey, does effectively the landscaper, you got anything to say on this? Again, zoning, compliance, and adjustments needed. Started by the architect. The owner was saying, hey, I'm trying to get HOA approval for the exterior designs. And the homeowner saying, hey, I drafted a proposal for the homeowner association. And we do have a homeowner integration feature as well that we'll get to later. So yeah, so if I wanted to, take a look at that chat. Yeah, so from here the property developer can, of course, start a new thread, but in this case, we can see the communications from the architect, the landscaper said, the owner agreed with the architect, and then the property developer has something to say, and then the architect has something to say, and I think you get the point, right? So again, this is here 10 years from now when the owner wants to rethink about something or whatever it is, right? So just want to call out the project communication. All right, so from here, once I click on configure project phases, we'll be able to configure the project phases. And as we see here, I have this junk phase. We can set the phase order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can, of course, define the phase 6. And here is the description. And save that if we wanted to. We can go back and look at those project phases. Now we'll go ahead and delete that because we don't actually need that phase. We actually really have our true 5 phases: initial groundwork, structural build out, utilities and external works, interior and finishing works, completion and inspection. So now, assuming the owner continues to make the required design selections, and we have all of those project communications, we get all of those things needed that we need to have done, then in that case we will be able to start the project and move the project along to phase 2. Okay, great. So now let's take a look at the project details. So here we can assume that this is a layout of the example of so here we can see at a high level the percentage complete of that particular phase, the log hours for the tradesmen, the percent of materials that are remaining for that particular phase, what we estimated we were going to spend for that phase, what the actual spend was for that phase, the various phase certifications, all of the receipts for that phase, all of the pictures from all of the 12 pillars, from all of the 12 stakeholders for that phase, and any documents for that phase. And this is from the property developer perspective. The property developer can do things like send this information to the bank, send this information to the insurance company, to appraisers or inspectors as needed. All right, back at the overview page or the projects page, we can now look at the project documents. So here's a view of what the project documents would look like. So here are the various certifications that the project may have, some pictures that the project may have, the various documents, and different receipts. So this is the project documents page. Great. So that kind of spells out the relationship and some of the features at a high level of what a property developer is doing to kind of get a project started in the pre-construction process. And note, this is at scale, built not only just for single home development and single family development, but also property developers. If you look in our portfolio, we don't only focus on, we build towers as well. So we have some really great offerings and management solutions, and we actually have some pending relationships with some property management companies of these big buildings, but also the builders themselves and those investor groups. Right, we have a platform that really fosters responsible and sustainable dwelling, and we'll talk more about that here in a moment. So thank you very much.